Hage needs a 2-putt bogey to win here on number 72 at the Rusty Putter in St. John. Ooh. He zips that one past the hole, and with that tap in, another 3-putt puts Hage and Perri scored through 72.
And look at that, Tom.
Here we are.
Live. We were in the South lot. We hadn't left since Christmas Eve after they went over the Cardinals. So now we're somewhere south of the stadium, off of Lakeshore Drive, maybe a normal overflow parking lot here for the McCormick place.
Yeah, looks like it.
A little chilly.
Maybe that's where the future stadium's going to be.
Rumor has it.
That's what they're saying.
So this is going to be an episode today where, I don't know, we got nothing to really talk about. Adam's out right now, enjoying the fine Southern Alabama, Northern Florida sunshine. So, Tom, I got a couple of questions for you.
I'm jealous.
Soldier Field. We talked last time you were on. You're a Bears fan.
Yep, unfortunately.
Exactly, unfortunately. Bears, somehow put up good first half against the Cardinals, and then want to give it away in the second half like they've been several times before.
Yep.
So we've talked all of 2023 about the Bears moving or potentially moving to a new stadium, right?
Yep.
And then now we're just joking here about, hey, maybe we're in the next footprint. But one of these arguments here about a new stadium in the South lot or just south where Soldier Field is at has been an obstruction of the George Lucas Museum. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, you do like Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
So what is going to win here more? Star Wars or the Bears for you?
Oh, gosh. Well, probably I have to say Star Wars, I would think. Trumps everything else.
So a couple Jedi forces here, some lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's more important to you than a downtown lakefront football season?
I tell you what, you see some of these other cities that put up these stadiums like LA and Vegas, and you look at what we have, it's just like, man, something state-of-the-art with a dome would be awesome. Something bigger, something that can host more things.
Are you trying to say that just because we had a 57-degree Christmas here in Chicago that now you still need a dome?
Like, I was somewhat considering going to the game this weekend, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go. It's cold. Tickets are still $90 to $100. And there's no parking. Like, those are things that steer a guy like me away who would like to take his family on New Year's Eve. But if it was one of those nice stadiums and it was warm and I could park somewhere easily, I may reconsider.
Even like I think a retractable, like obviously the expense is enormous, but you don't want to miss out. September, October, Chicago weather is some of the best weather that you can get. It's like San Diego of the Midwest for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So you don't want to miss that.
Right.
But I agree. I mean, right now it's 26 degrees. I mean, yesterday at one point it was 54.
Yep.
So these 30-degree swings in temperature, they're not good for guys in their late 30s, early 40s. Like, my knees are starting to ache a little bit.
And I want to take my 9-year-old son. He's going to be cold and miserable. And I think the idea of Bears weather and all that is really dated, and we need to move past that. If they really want to open the dome when it's snowy, then go ahead.
Make it like a competitive advantage. Used to play, I forgot what the Metrodome, and allegedly the fans used to blow in when the away team was hitting. Yeah. Hey, we're just going to open. Oh, it's a team from the South.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, the Buccaneers are here. All right, it's going to snow a little bit.
I just think they need to move past that mentality of who they are. They need a whole new identity. I don't know.
I wouldn't complain about like parking being improved, right?
Yeah.
I always laugh that we go to games with people or you go downtown for things with people. Like, how much is it to park?
Yeah.
Your airport costs what to park at?
Yep.
I've parked. I think I paid at one point for NFC Championship game, Bears Packers. That was like 2011, something like that. Mm-hmm. Jim Cornelius singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
I paid $125 to park.
Yeah.
And it still had to walk.
10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it still had to walk. Like it's.
I went up to a game a couple years ago, and we just sort of winged it for parking, and somehow we found a cash lot, and the guy running the lot was like, you guys just came up here with no plan. We're like, well, he's like, you're lucky you found this lot because it's sort of tucked away by the planetarium. And like, it needs to be like Wrigley did it. They had parking issues and they put up a parking deck or a parking garage. And I don't know.
Well, that's like you go to a Bears at least. Sometimes you're parking at like Millennium. You're parking underground, walking underground to the stadium.
Yep.
So you're missing out on a nice crisp lakefront breeze. Parking is an interesting thing, but you also said, oh, this little lot, you showed up with no plan.
Yeah.
You're not going to survive 2024 without a plan.
Nope.
Right? You want to buy a house, you have to plan. Yeah. We've had, a couple of our agents we work with have been on. They've talked about being poised and ready, or just having all of your ducks in a row, because you just never know when you're going to stumble upon that little lot next to the other planetarium, and you might get razzed a little bit, but that could be that perfect house. Yeah. And like we want to talk about parking at houses. I'm pretty confident that I know how you feel about 3-car garages. Mm-hmm. I know how I feel about 3-car garages. I don't think anyone even knows right now that we're actually not sitting in a parking lot. We're sitting in a 3-car garage. But if you're a family and you got a couple kids, you got 2 large SUVs or even medium-sized SUVs, but you have the Power Wheels Jeep, couple bikes, golf cart, grill, rec tech,
freezer, fridge,
Blackstone, kegerator.
It all adds.
Then a 3-car garage is like it's a really, really great thing. The nice part about 3-car garage too is you can close the dome, right? You want to watch football games out here because your wife is mad at you. Mm-hmm. You want to drink some beers, get yourself a raggedy old couch and have a great time.
Yeah.
So if you want to make that jump though from some no car, 1-car, 2-car garage, price points go up. You got to be ready to budget for that.
Yeah.
It's the little things, right? As you've gotten older. So how many houses have you owned?
So I just have been in my 3rd house now for a year.
All right. You built that house. And I think going into it, you probably knew some of the nuances on your 3rd house, right?
Yes.
So I believe, a main floor bedroom type operation.
Yep.
Critical.
Never
know when you're going to blow out an ankle, bust up a knee.
Yeah.
Or you need to have like a little bit of an office off to the side, right?
Yeah.
So your floor plan was, let's move this room. So if I'm going to work from home, be quiet.
Yep. I have my mom coming into town from time to time. It's nice to have a little space for her. And planned accordingly with the new house for sure.
3-car garage.
Yep.
You got the golf cart.
Yep.
It's imperative. Don't want to leave. You can't park it outside. Your HOA will get you.
Yeah.
What else did you put in there? What else did you, having owned 2 other homes, having a family, that's kind of grown a little bit, what else was important to you?
Well, we got the loft space upstairs. That's nice for the kids and all their stuff. Put a little couch and TV in there. Upgraded the basement a little bit, got some higher ceilings down there, which is nice. Put a little nicer furnace in, upgraded the AC because I get hot in the summer.
You run a little hot, man.
Yeah, there's still things we missed on that we're like, man, I wish we would have done this or that. But for the most part, I think we're pretty happy.
All right. But you went in there with a plan.
Yeah.
I would hope so, given your pedigree here is doing mortgages with me for a while. But it was a plan, right? You knew what you wanted to do, right? You're kind of going at it like we're hoping Ryan Poles goes with this next draft here.
Yeah.
So you knew you had number 1 pick in the bag, which was, I'm going to guess at this point for you, your number 1 pick was the main level bedroom / office off to the side.
It was a primary thing. Yeah.
So now you're picking, pick number 2, somewhere between 5 and 8 here. What was that?
Probably the 3-car garage.
All right.
Yeah.
It was all a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just spinning off to the mortgage thing. I've been preaching that for a decade to people.
Actually, that's a good question. I know you got to divulge a little bit of personal information on it, but I think you're comfortable with it. You left a what interest rate to get, and then bought a house with what was your current interest rate?
make me feel a little nauseous. Well, yeah, we refied the other house at one point to a 15-year, and we were like in the twos. It was 2.25 even at some point. But we planned ahead and we got into a nice loan on this new house, and we're still at 3%. So I felt okay with it, So I felt great about it, actually.
I mean, it jumped up 3/4 of a point. It's still a historic low at that point, but you knew you were going, like, you wanted to buy this house, right? You weren't thinking, oh my gosh, the interest rate's going to go up 3/4 of a point. My loan term's going to get kicked out. You said, it'd be really nice to have a 3-car garage, get upgraded HVAC, all of this other stuff, right? Like those were items that you weren't afraid of.
Correct.
And I think what happens, and you're seeing this with customers, I'm seeing this with customers, a lot of our referral partners are seeing this as well. Like, folks are hyper fixated on interest rate, but an interest rate's it shouldn't dictate if you want to buy the house or not. We've seen plenty of stats about, I need to move, right? And interest rates aren't one of them. Do you need to buy gas, right? The other day I was driving, I had to go from here to my parents' house, and I'm like, oh, I need to get gas.
Yeah.
I didn't go, well, I'm going to wait and get gas in 4 days and not go to Christmas. It was, I have an obligation, right? Yeah. So if you're in a situation right now where your lease is coming up, your landlord's raising the rent, your landlord decided to sell your house, the right house in the right location with the 3-car garage pops up for sale. Don't let an interest rate make you nervous, right? We've seen rates of the last 3 weeks here have worked down. So I think probably next week we'll see Freddie Mac's posted rate average somewhere in the high 6s, low 7s, down from 2 months ago almost 8.
Yeah, I've gone through the mortgage loan process probably 5 times. I bought my first house in 2006, bought the next one, so that's 2. Refied that house twice, that's 4, and then bought the new house. So I didn't, the first house was at a 6-something, in 2006.
I think my first mortgage was 6.75 on a 30-year fixed, and that was probably 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's crazy because I bought the house for $64,000. I put a bunch of money into it, but cleaned it up, renovated it, and then just decided it wasn't in the right spot and sold it. Yeah. But just because we're in the industry doesn't mean we get these magically lower interest rates or anything like that either, right? We're dealing with the market forces just like everybody else is. Yeah. But if in my case, I'm like, hey, I just don't like this neighborhood anymore. I need to move. Sold that house, bought another one, right? And I think the first rate on that one might have been like 6.25 on a 30-year. And then, rates came down. I refinanced to a 15-year, stacked up a bunch of equity, right? Because 15-year, you're on this accelerated payment plan. Now, this was at a time, though, right? We've heard this yield curve inversion, compression, all this other stuff. So when I had that in 2012, 13, like the difference between the 30-year rate and the 15-year rate was 2%. Right now, that difference, it's been since COVID issues, 0.25%. So it's not necessarily worth it, but you can still make that accelerated payment, right? Amortization and appreciation is going to equal your equity. So the faster you can pay that loan down and your home's appreciating, leave you in a good spot. And it left me in a spot where I was able to, thankfully take advantage of a pretty good interest rate environment, but put a larger down payment on a house to keep my payments in line and get a 3-car garage. Yeah. I've never had a house with a 3-car garage until this one.
Right.
But that was an important thing for me because it was a pain in the butt to have to go scrape snow off or ice off your windshield because you got to have the snow blower in the middle of the garage because you just never know when you're going to get 12 inches of snow around here.
That's right. Yeah, I think people get caught up on that. I sold my house at a weird time. I bought it kind of a weird time when prices were up, and I heard a lot of grumblings from a lot of my friends and stuff. But, I was able to sell my house for a good price. And like you said, I had the equity there and put it into the new house. And it's not ever going to be ideal. It's not something like that's always going to be perfect. You just have to decide what's important to you,
But so let's talk about, right? So the house that you sold to move into the next one, we talk about Ryan Poles always flipping draft capital, right?
Yeah.
So at one point you had an interest rate in the 6s on that house, right? But you still had equity, right? You had appreciation when you bought that house compared to when you sold it. So you owned that house from what, 2010 till
Yep.
2020?
Yep.
Somewhere around there. So 10 years.
Yep.
And you were paying down a mortgage, right? You at one point you went to a 15 year, so you were aggressively paying down that mortgage. And then your home was also appreciating. Everyone's concerned about this appreciation factor. They don't understand, like, not that people don't understand. It's a hard thing to grasp sometime, right? It's easy to go look at your stock, your trading account, and go, all right, I bought in for this. I'm going to sell for this. I'm going to click a button and I'm going to execute at market price, right? When you go to sell your house, there's a little bit more that goes into it, but it's the easiest thing to leverage.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone gets nervous about this stuff. So we thought, Ryan Poles, he's flipped into some great draft capital, right? This whole Panthers thing, we're getting him again, right? So we're going to end up with likely a number 1 pick here, as long as the Jaguars beat the Panthers this coming weekend. Yeah. And we're going to catapult to a 1 and then maybe an 8. And then we got 4 other draft picks after that.
Yep.
I think he's prepared, right? They have to make a decision on Justin Fields. Justin Fields could be your landlord. Are you in or are you out, right? Like, you have to go at it. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about being a Bears fan has always been the waffling. Yep. Let's get a quarterback, but then let's not put a receiver behind them, right? Or let's just build up a really great defense, but then have an offense that can only put up 14 points a game. Right. Having that plan, right? In this case, if your landlord's Justin Fields, are you signing up for the the 4th year and then picking up an option, or are you cutting bait and are you drafting a Caleb Williams, or a kid from LSU, or the quarterback with the JJ McCarthy from Michigan is all of a sudden on the Bears' radar a little bit too, which would be great. Harbaugh comes too, but don't worry about any sign. I think the Houston Astros might want him. Yeah. But that's like the thing what I'm trying to say, right? You have an opportunity here to cut bait. You just have to make a concise decision. Being in between or not sure, guess what? You don't have to hire an Ernie Accorsi or an independent consultant to make sure. You can call Tom Slick, you can call me, you can call anyone at Novus. They'll help you out. We'll guide you through. We'll talk you through, because you just don't know, right? Sometimes folks. I had a customer the other day. Well, I can sell my house for that. Yeah, man. Yeah. You can sell your house for that. And then, in this case, this customer, he's going to be able to buy a house that, and it for him, allows for him to have his family, right? He got engaged. He's got family plans, but it also has acreage and a pole barn. It allows him to scale and put a business together, right? Or save on storage for vehicles, all that stuff. You just never know when it's going to pop up, but being ready. And I think knowing your budget is the biggest thing, right? The NFL, we have a hard salary cap. So we know what the budget has to be. You're going to hear about cap casualties. Sometimes that's the 3-car garage versus a 2-car garage. Sometimes that's the middle lot versus the end lot or the corner lot or the cul-de-sac. But if you have a plan, you can execute quickly in this environment, and you're going to win. You're going to end up, hopefully, like a Ryan Poles here in this next draft, as long as the Jaguars beat the Panthers. What else you got, Tom?
You like that idea, just sticking to the plan. I think, the Bears have always just been going – they're on the same cycle. They need to pick someone. They need to pick a coach and just stick with it. It's just like, pick your mortgage guy, pick your realtor, get somebody you trust, help you make some decisions. There's a lot of things you can do with that equity, like we talked about, paying things off. And I don't know, just trying to put people in a good spot that they're comfortable with is the key,
Yeah, I think one of the things I would recommend is going into 2024, regardless if you're going to buy a house, sell a house, you're looking to move, not looking to move, you just need an independent look at your finances, You can call Tom, you can call me, you guys can hit us up online, reach out to us, or even like Adam and the Hage office, like with insurance, like just do an inventory of your financial situation so that you are ready to go, so that you do know that if the right piece of land pops up and you need to build a stadium there, that you can do it, and you know what your return is going to be. You know what you're looking for. Are you looking for that retractable dome? Are you looking for that the third parking spot? Are you looking for transportation, access to it, right? And even if you make a decision like the Bears, where you buy a racetrack, you start tearing it down, and then you go, this might actually not be the right thing for us. You can undo it.
Yeah.
You have equity. The market's still appreciating. There's still not a lot of homes for sale. So if you maybe made that rash decision, or maybe I wouldn't call it a mistake, but you're looking for that do-over or that mulligan, right? Don't be afraid to talk to real estate agent, your mortgage person, just to look at everything and see, hey, what can I do? Hey, you got that Scott Boras credit card in your pocket, but your house is worth $100,000 more than what you thought it was, right? Well, let's just knock that thing out so that it's not gobbling up that budget, right? Christmas just came and went. Blew the budget like we usually do. I'm sure you same thing, right? Like
Same.
These PS5s and whatever else, they cost $1 bajillion now. So going into January, even if it's not on your New Year's resolution to buy a house, sell a house, let's look at your budget. We're here to help. Let us be your financial coaches. I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to make you do push-ups. You, baby. You, Tom, give me 20, all right?
Use it.
All right, Tom, how do people get in touch with you?
219-545-1383 is my cell. It's on all the time, so always available.
And you're willing to have these conversations with folks for free, right?
I've been telling people for decades, or a decade now, I've been doing this. Like, get out in front of it. If you have any thoughts of buying a house, how often do you get a call on a Saturday? Hey, we found the house we like, but you haven't pulled a credit report or collected any paperwork. Like, if you have any thoughts about buying a house next year or this upcoming year, put a plan in place. It's super important. And it makes it so much easier for everyone, including myself, which we like.
I mean, we like to make it easy. I think the other part, like you hear all these horror stories about, oh, my cousin had the worst time buying a house. Well, more than likely, your cousin probably waited till the last second, saw the house that they like pop up. They knew that their lease was coming up, and it became a scramble. Here's a couple easy things that you can do, okay? If you think that buying a house in the next 12 months is going to be something that's going to happen, call us. Just tell us, hey, look, I'm thinking about it. We have the tools to talk you through it so that you know that when you're thinking about it, it doesn't become this emotional rush, right? Buying a house is an emotional roller coaster. So things to do. Get your 2022 W-2 downloaded. Have it in a folder. Get your last pay stubs. Download your last, if you're paid weekly, your last 4. If you're paid bi-weekly, your last 3. If you're paid twice a month, your last 2. If you're paid monthly, 1. And just have those in a folder. And then every week whenever you're paid, they're emailed to you. Just download them in a folder. If you get a paper check, just scan it in and save it in that folder. And that way, when you're ready to go, and when that mortgage person, I don't care if it's me, Tom, someone at a different company, they're going to need that paperwork. If they're not asking you for that paperwork, they're not doing their job. Don't get fooled into that trap, right? And we'll have real estate agents on this whole next year talk about pre-qualifications versus pre-approvals versus did this fellow get looked at by an underwriter, right? The pre-qualification, I can tell you whatever I need to. Yeah, I make $35,000 a week. Oh, well, what do you do? I'm in the business, imports and exports. I work for Vanderlei Industries.
Done. You're pre-qualified.
Yeah, and then when I want to go buy that house, right? It's like, well, now I got to I want to buy that $1 million house. Oh, and I got to put $800,000 down. Well, I don't have that.
Yeah.
It's just having that plan, right? Have that talk. But it's not just purchases too, refinances, right? If you're getting, I'm going to end it with this. If you're ending up with a salary cap casualty every month in your budget, are you all of a sudden I got to put this tank of gas or this $300 for random car repair on a credit card because I haven't been able to build up a savings account? You need to talk to us. Don't listen to this whole interest rate thing. Don't let that scare you. Just have a conversation with us. We can talk you through it. We can look at your options. We can help you out. Because I promise you there's options. And this is happening more and more. So if you're nervous, don't be nervous. Don't be embarrassed. I promise it's no judgments with us. We're just here to help you.
We've seen it all.
We want you to succeed with home ownership.
I agree. I love it.
All right. Well, you've heard from Tom. You know how to get in touch with him. Reach me, Tony. You can go applywithjr.com or 630-284-9729. So see you in 2024. For now, let's go get a couple of these cheeseburgers back here, huh?